Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a space that feels like it's changing by the minute.
Oh, absolutely.
The intersection of AI and medicine.
It really is. It's a field just buzzing with innovation, but also, big questions.
Big questions for sure.
Questions about how we make sure these powerful new tools are safe, effective, and actually benefit patients and clinicians.
Exactly. And our exploration today, well, it isn't just speculation. We're doing a deep dive into a stack of source material you've shared with us. Insights pulled straight from a recent newsletter tracking this fast-moving frontier.
Right. And our mission here really is to cut through some of that buzz.
Yeah.
Highlight the most important developments, the new ways people are evaluating these AI tools,
Okay.
where they're actually being put to work in healthcare systems, and importantly, how patients and maybe future medical professionals are interacting with it all. We're drawing insights right from these sources.
The goal is to give you, the listener, a clear, grounded picture of what's happening, right at the cutting edge, without getting lost in the hype or buried in jargon. We'll look at how AI is being evaluated way beyond simple tests.
Right.
Peek into some exciting implementations in hospitals, globally even.
Yeah, some really interesting stuff there.
See, AI is a kind of surprising role in medical education and, crucially, touch on what patients think about all this.
That patient perspective is key.
Okay, let's unpack this then.
Yeah.
When we think about AI being used in hospitals, maybe helping doctors diagnose things or suggest treatments, the biggest question it always feels like is, how do we really know these tools are good enough?
That's the core issue, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it feels like getting the right answer on a simple test is one thing.
Sure.
But applying that in a complex, real-life clinical situation, with all the uncertainty and nuance, that's totally different.
That's exactly the challenge researchers and developers are, grappling with. And it's why a new framework like HealthBench, coming out of OpenAI's work, is actually pretty significant.
HealthBench. Okay.
It's designed specifically to move past those simpler, often multiple choice style evaluations.
Right. So tell me more. What makes HealthBench different?
Well, what's fascinating here is that HealthBench is built as an open source framework.
Okay, open source. That's good.
And its core focus is evaluating these large language models, LLMs, the AI behind chatbots and things.
Right.
Specifically within the context of realistic clinical conversations.
So not just abstract tests.
Exactly. And they didn't just build this in some lab. They built it collaboratively
Yeah.
with a huge diverse group,
Oh, yeah.
262 physicians
Wow.
from 60 different countries.
60 countries. That immediately tells you they're trying to capture a really broad set of real-world scenarios and needs.
Absolutely. And the sheer scale reflects that ambition. The framework has 5,000 distinct multi-turn scenarios.
5,000.
So not just one question, but a back-and-forth exchange.
Like a real consultation.
Kind of. And a staggering 48,562 specific criteria that these physicians use to score the AI's responses.
48,000. Wow.
Yeah. It really zeroes in on themes doctors face constantly. Handling emergencies, navigating uncertainty when information's incomplete, understanding different global health contexts, tailoring communication. It's a fundamental shift.
From just, does the AI know facts, to
Can the AI reason and communicate like a physician in a complex situation?
got it. So how did the current AI models do when they put them through this rigorous test?
Well, the source material shared the results, and they are interesting.
Okay.
On the overall HealthBench, one of their models, called O3, scored around 60%.
60%. Okay.
GPT-4 scored roughly half that, about around 30%.
30s. Wow.
And GPT 3.5 was significantly lower, about 16%.
16. Okay.
But they also highlighted a particularly challenging subset. They call it HealthBench Hard.
HealthBench hard. That sounds intimidating.
It is. These are the scenarios designed to really push the AI's limits on complexity, ambiguity.
You're really messy stuff.
Exactly. And in those tests, the scores dropped significantly. Even the top model scored only around 32%.
Down to 32%. Wow.
It really underscores how much harder it is for current AI to navigate those truly messy, uncertain, real-world clinical challenges compared to, more straightforward tasks.
That drop is really telling, isn't it? It feels like this evaluation framework itself is a major step forward.
Definitely.
Reading through the source, the points about why HealthBench matters really stood out. It's raising the bar for evaluation. It's offering transparency by being open source.
Which is huge.
And crucially, the scoring is driven by physicians themselves, reflecting what they think is important for real-world performance. That physician involvement feels, well, non-negotiable.
It's absolutely crucial, essential for building trust. And the source points out that while HealthBench is a significant leap, it's not the end of the story. Experts mention things like potential grading bias within the rubric.
Okay.
And making sure the AI performs equally well across diverse patient subgroups and global contexts. That still needs considerable attention and refinement.
Right. So it's like they're building a much better testing ground, but the models themselves and even the evaluation methods still need to evolve within that ground.
Precisely. The authors put it well. They said, HealthBench tests how well AI models perform in realistic health scenarios, based on what physician experts say matters most.
That emphasis on the expert perspective is key. Okay, so we're getting more sophisticated tools to evaluate if AI is ready for prime time. But where is AI actually being put to use right now?
Good question.
Where are we seeing it implemented in hospitals, in healthcare systems?
Well, if we connect this evaluation piece to the bigger picture, we see that even as evaluation methods improve, the implementation side is moving really fast, from pilot projects to, scale deployments. And the source material spotlights, carpl.ai, is a fascinating example, especially in radiology.
Radiology. Yeah, that seems like a natural fit for AI dealing with all those medical images.
It is.
So what problem does a platform like carpl.ai solve for hospitals?
Well, the source points out a real challenge hospitals face. They might want to use AI tools to help radiologists, right?
Sure.
But these tools often come from many different vendors, lots of them. And managing, integrating, monitoring dozens of these separate AI tools. It can be incredibly complex.
Sounds like a nightmare.
And frankly, just inconvenient for busy clinicians trying to get work done.
Right. So carpl.ai offers like a central solution.
Exactly. They've built a vendor-neutral platform.
Vendor-neutral. Okay.
Think of it like a central hub, maybe a marketplace.
Got it.
That helps hospitals deploy and monitor all these different radiology AI tools from various companies at scale within their existing infrastructure.
And the scale they're already at is pretty impressive. The source mentioned over 175 apps from more than 75 vendors.
Right. Huge number. And it's an FDA-cleared system, too.
Okay, so it's gone through regulatory review.
And the key is that it's designed to integrate directly into the systems hospitals already use, like PayCS and RIS.
Those are the picture archiving systems and radiology info systems.
Exactly. The goal is for the AI insights to appear seamlessly within the radiologist's existing workflow, aiming for no extra clicks, no hassles.
And it's not just deployment, right? They cover the whole AI lifecycle.
Yes. From validating tools before they go live,
right,
to monitoring them in real time after deployment.
That real-time monitoring piece sounds incredibly important.
It is. It allows hospitals to test tools on their own patient data, which is crucial because data varies so much.
Okay.
And continuously track the AI's performance across different demographics, different imaging devices.
So if something starts to go wrong,
like if the AI starts showing signs of bias for certain patient groups, or if its performance drops over time, that's called model drift.
Okay.
The platform can send alerts.
That built-in oversight feels vital, especially given patient concerns, which I guess we'll discuss later.
Exactly. And this isn't just theoretical. The source mentions carpl.ai is already live, making a difference in the U.S., Brazil, Singapore, India.
Wow.
Helping improve speed and accuracy in those real-world settings.
It really highlights that AI is moving beyond research labs into practice.
Definitely. And carpl.ai isn't the only example from the source showing this push for implementation.
Right. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, I thought. Beyond platforms like carpl.ai, we're seeing AI woven into specific clinical areas, even national strategies.
Absolutely. Like Microsoft's work on an agentic AI orchestrator for cancer care.
Agentic AI, what does that mean exactly?
Essentially, AI systems working together, coordinating complex processes like preparing for tumor board meetings.
Okay.
Or helping with precision medicine decisions by pulling together vast amounts of patient data.
Managing complexity. And on a larger scale, that initiative in India.
Yes, the IIT Delhi and AIIMS Center of Excellence. That's significant.
backed by substantial funding, right?
And focused on developing scalable AI solutions for critical national health priorities.
Yeah.
Things like cancer, TB, building diagnostic tools for rural areas.
Really tackling big public health issues.
And there's that global platform partnership.
Yeah.
Oracle Health, Cleveland Clinic, and the UAE's G42.
Right. What's the goal there?
This aims to build real-time, nation-scale data analytics capabilities, initially across the U.S. and the UAE.
Nation-scale analytics.
Yeah, it really speaks to the ambition of using AI not just for individual patient care, but for population health, public health insights on a massive scale.
So, okay, we're seeing AI evaluated more rigorously with things like HealthBench. We're seeing it implemented in practical ways, from hospital departments with CRRPL.ai to these national initiatives. But what about the people?
Right.
People who will use and be affected by this technology.
Exactly. Because beyond diagnosis and system deployment, AI is also starting to influence how the next generation of medical professionals is trained. And just as importantly, how patients feel about having AI involved in their care.
Let's talk education first, then. The source highlighted research looking at AI in interprofessional education, IPE.
IPE.
That's where future doctors, nurses, pharmacists, other health pros learn to work together, right? Which is critical for team-based care.
It's as essential. But the source points out a significant hurdle in actually implementing IPE effectively.
What's that?
Faculty shortages and just plain scheduling conflicts. They often make it really difficult to create and run enough realistic training scenarios.
Oh, okay.
Especially in settings that don't have a ton of resources.
Right, that sounds like a real bottleneck in training future teams. So how did AI come into play here as a potential solution?
Well, researchers tested using a powerful AI model, GPT-4o.
Okay, GPT-4o.
Coupled with a process they call iterative refinement to design these IPE scenarios.
Iterative refinement. What does that look like?
Think of it like this. The AI drafts a scenario. Then a human expert reviews it, gives feedback. The AI revises based on that feedback. Maybe other roles in the scenario also provide input.
Like a virtual team.
Sort of. And this back and forth continues. It mimics how real clinical cases are developed and refined for teaching.
Okay, so it's not just AI spitting out a scenario. It's this collaborative process with expert feedback loop.
Exactly. And the results of this test, they sound really promising.
Yeah.
According to the study, using this iterative refinement approach with GPT-4o produced high-quality IPE scenarios significantly faster.
How much faster?
Took just 9 minutes on average to generate a refined case, compared to around 118 minutes when human mentors developed them from scratch.
9 minutes versus nearly 2 hours. That's a huge time saving.
Massive.
Imagine what that could do for increasing the availability of this crucial training.
Right. And importantly, it wasn't just about speed.
Okay.
The AI-generated scenarios, using this refined method, were rated as being of higher quality by reviewers.
Higher quality, too.
Yeah, scoring better on things like challenge and how well they engage students. In fact, when expert reviewers evaluated the scenarios without knowing if they were AI or human-written, they couldn't reliably tell the difference between the refined AI versions and the human-written ones.
Wow, that's powerful validation for this approach.
It really is.
And the point from the source about why this matters feels really clear. This study showcases a scalable AI-assisted method that can maintain, maybe even improve educational quality while dramatically reducing the time burden on scarce faculty resources.
Exactly. The authors summed it up well. They said this approach showcases the substantial potential of AI in creating personalized learning materials, but also presents an innovative and effective solution to the current challenges in IPE.
An innovative and effective solution. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, shifting gears a bit.
Okay.
From training future professionals to the perspectives of the patients they'll care for.
Right, the patient view.
Another research highlight in this source looked at patient views on AI clinical decision support systems, AI-CDSS.
That's when AI gives suggestions or insights to doctors during care.
Exactly. Providing prompts, alerts, maybe diagnostic suggestions.
So how do patients generally feel about AI being involved in their doctor's decision-making? Is it excitement, fear?
Well, the key takeaway from the source is it's nuanced.
Okay.
Patients are potentially supportive of AI assisting doctors, but there's a big but. They have significant, and I mean fundamental concerns.
Fundamental concerns like what?
What's fascinating here is that these concerns really revolve around the core human elements of healthcare.
Such as?
Trust. Trust in the technology. Trust in the provider using it. Responsibility, who's ultimately responsible if something goes wrong when AI is involved.
That's a huge one.
And critically, their own autonomy. Self-determination in making choices about their health.
So it's not just some vague unease about technology. It's hitting at the very foundations of the patient-provider relationship.
Precisely.
Given those concerns, what does the source say patients need to feel comfortable with AI in their care?
The emphasis is strongly on transparency.
Okay, seeing how it works.
Human oversight. Knowing a human expert is in the loop. Reviewing, validating AI suggestions.
Right. Not just the AI making calls.
And ensuring shared decision-making. Patients want to understand why an AI might be recommending something. And they absolutely want to remain active participants in making the final decisions about their treatment.
It links right back to the importance of things like that monitoring we discussed with crpl.ai, doesn't it?
It does. Ensuring the AI is performing reliably is a huge piece of building that trust.
It makes total sense. Trust, responsibility, autonomy. Those are paramount. Okay. And finally, the source mentioned one more research highlight, touching on AI and GI endoscopy.
Right, looking inside the digestive tract.
Yeah.
That study provided a really concrete example of how AI assistance can directly benefit both clinicians and patients.
How so?
It found that AI assistance significantly improves an endoscopist's ability to detect superficial esophageal squamous cell carcinoma.
That's a type of early cancer in the esophagus.
Exactly. It improved both their sensitivity and their accuracy. And this benefit was seen when evaluating videos,
Okay.
helping both experienced endoscopists and those with less experience spot potentially concerning lesions they might have otherwise missed.
So the AI is acting like a powerful, reliable second set of eyes.
That's a great way to put it, a second set of eyes.
Okay. Wow. So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into AI in medicine, drawing directly from the source material you shared.
We really have. We started by looking at new, more rigorous ways to evaluate AI's readiness for real-world clinical settings.
Right, with frameworks like HealthBench.
Then we saw examples of where this technology is already being implemented.
From vendor-neutral platforms like CIRPL.ai streamlining radiology workflows,
To those massive global and national initiatives using AI for public health insights.
we explored its potential to transform medical education, offering a scalable way to create high-quality training scenarios.
That IPE study.
And critically, we dove into the vital importance of patient perspectives.
Highlighting that trust, responsibility, and autonomy are just non-negotiable concerns. They have to be addressed as AI gets more integrated into care.
It's clear from the variety of topics just in this one source bundle that this field is incredibly dynamic, developing at speed.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it leads to that final thought from the source, doesn't it? That quote from Dr. Michelle Thompson, a family medicine specialist.
Oh, right. That quote really resonated. She said, AI has allowed me as a physician to be 100% present for my patients.
That's such a powerful idea. The hope, I suppose,
Yeah.
is that by handling some of the tasks, maybe sifting through data, highlighting potential issues, generating training materials like we saw, AI could potentially free up human clinicians to focus more on the uniquely human aspects of care, the empathy, the communication, the complex judgment.
Being fully present. So what does that idea of AI freeing up human capacity to be more present for complex human-centric work? What does that mean for the future of medicine?
Or even broader, right?
Yeah, thinking broader for other fields you might be interested in where AI is starting to play a role.
It's definitely a question worth mulling over.
Yeah. Keep thinking about how these powerful technologies are being evaluated, how they're implemented in practice, how they might change training.
And most importantly, how they're perceived and integrated with that human element in any field, really.
So many questions left to explore just based on this deep dive.